We started this business, we never had money to buy scooters.
You recently raised $25 million in funding by Gogoro and secured partnership with Zomato, among others. How have these stakeholders contributed to Zypp's growth story?
We clearly said that swapping is something that we cannot do because it's like building a separate business. So when Gogoro came forward and said that, hey, we'd want to set up swapping stations for you. We will try to get the right product for you. We'll help you scale. And at the same time, can you help us set up shop in India?
Zypp Electric aims to expand its footprint to 30 cities in India by 2025 end. What challenges do you anticipate in achieving this goal?
One, to solve the problem of pollution and climate change. Electric vehicles on a total cost of ownership over the life are much lower, while the input cost is much higher, but the running expenses are lower.
Which EV do you personally like to ride?
Zypp.
Zypp? Any other one?
Oh yeah, so frankly, I want to buy, an EV, but I'm afraid there are not good enough, EV cars out there when I would want to buy. But I think most of the time to the office, I would be traveling a Zypp bike and you would see me on the roads. I'm meeting the drivers, taking their feedback.
Name a Bollywood female and male actor that you'd hire as Zypp's brand ambassador.
I think I need a massy guy who can relate with the delivery executives very well. I think I'll put one of the Khans to do this job.
Our esteemed guest for the day is a pioneering figure in the Indian EV industry. An alumnus of IMT Ghaziabad, he's the co-founder and CEO of Zypp Electric. Not only that, he's Business World 40 Under 40, an angel investor, captivating TEDx speaker, and a startup influencer with his social media handle, Akash Se Akash, where he is on a mission to inspire young entrepreneurs. With over 11 years of extensive experience, our guest has worked across industries and scaled Zypp to staggering heights. We have with us Mr. Akash Gupta.
Thank you.
So Akash, my first question for you is, how did Zypp Electric create its asset-light model where it doesn't own any scooter?
Yeah, so it's been a journey, frankly. It was not easy because when we started this business, we never had money to buy scooters. But we wanted to solve the problem of climate change, electrification. So the idea, frankly, came about through one of the interviews that I did, right? Where a young guy said that maybe you can ask people to buy scooters and give them some money. So I remember we said that it's quite a wacky idea. Let's try that. So we put out our social media posts where we said that, hey, we are at 50 scooters. We are an EV company. We want people to invest in vehicles for us. And we'll ensure that you will get good returns. So you invest 36,000. In 2 years, we'll make it 48,000 for you. We'll give you 2,500 or 3,000 every month for 2 years. People liked it. Interestingly, that's the first investment my mom did in our company. She said that I will also buy 10 scooters. My sister did some scooters and a lot of others. So I saw some youngsters just pass out of college working around our office area. They said they came to visit our office and said that I want to meet Akash, and they meet me, and they said that I want to invest 2 scooters, Akash. And they are guys who just passed out of college in their first jobs. So that was the idea, right? So we liked it. We said that from 50 to 500, we actually scaled up by just people investing into these assets, and we thought that we've cracked something for the first time in the EV industry. That at least if banks cannot fund you, if VCs cannot fund you, can public invest in vehicles? And then frankly, after a year down the line, some guys who are entrepreneurial like you, they figured out that it can be a business model for them. So then they started finding investors on a very organized path to invest in these vehicles for us and helped us scale. In fact, we invested in those companies, right? So that it's a synergy. And that's how, from a 500 to a 15,000 now.
That's great. All right. So I want to understand, as the EV industry faces competition and regulatory changes, how do you maintain Zypp Electric's growth trajectory and stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we have done well versus anyone else in the market is knowing what not to do, right? Because we failed multiple times as an entrepreneur. Every day there's a failure, and there's one way that you can just sit down and feel that, hey, we failed today. Or you can take some guidance out of it and possibly find that if you failed, how to how to recuperate from it and start afresh, solve that problem. So I think our DNA has been to solve problems. Our DNA to like this one example, which we just talked about, that financing was an issue. So we cracked a very wacky way of financing. The same ways, I think what we've been able to do is get the entire value chain out, put it into different puzzles, and know that what has failed for the others, why we have been failing in certain areas, and put either technology around it, or process around it, or people around it. So these three things you need to put at the right places, kind of get your ball rolling in the right direction. And I think that is a piece that we have done better than others. One is our longevity, to know what not to do. A lot of younger players come in and do the same things which we know. And we know that after 6 months, we will not see them. And that has happened with us in our journey. And I think the persistence helps, right? So solving that problem, having a brand now, which people are happy to put in capital in, and creating technology and people solving the right problems at the right place is the only way that any startup can scale.
Awesome. I think it's very important to learn from our failures and persistently work towards our goals. Awesome. So my next question for you is, you recently raised $25 million in funding by Gogoro and secured partnership with Zomato, among others. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How have these stakeholders contributed or will contribute to Zypp's growth story, and what have they brought on board for Zypp?
Sure. Yeah, so see, I think fundraising is one side, but whenever we speak to anyone for the round, right, we want to see some synergies, right? So, and I think I have been a fairly deeply partnerships guy all my life, right? Whether it's Snapdeal or MobiKwik or Airtel, wherever I've worked, I have just cracked the right partnerships at the right time. And I feel that as a business, you need to know what you can do better. And as a business, you should also know what you cannot do, right? So we know that there are certain things that while we can do, but we should not do. I think a lot of startups fail in solving too much too early. Since we've been beaten a lot in the last 5 years, learning what not to do again, we clearly said that swapping is something that we cannot do, because it's like building a separate business, right? Again, I'm saying that we can do, but doing that at this stage is a wrong thing. It'll crumble everything. So when Gogoro came forward and said that, hey, we'd want to set up swapping stations for you. We will try to get the right product for you. We'll help you scale. And at the same time, can you help us set up shop in India? Right? Because they are new to India. They don't understand India. They are Taiwanese. They have never branched at this scale anywhere else in the world. So we said that why not? You know, if there's a synergy where you will give us the right bike at the right price and can help us solve the swapping issues, and we help you set up shop and expand at the right places, knowing what works in India, then it's a win-win. So that's how, you know, we cracked a partnership with them. And similar such partnerships we've cracked with multiple swapping partners, multiple financing partners, multiple OEMs who make these bikes, multiple customers, right? So everyone in e-commerce today, whether it's Zomato or an Amazon or a Flipkart or a big basket, Zepto, Blinkit, Uber, Rapido, Porter, everyone is our customer, right? Everyone has an electrification aim. And thankfully, Zypp is one partner which has been able to provide that scale to them and that trust to them. Case in point, some of our customers, you know, say that we never could feel that you guys can scale so well, and we could never feel that you can do our work better than us. That's a quote that I've heard from not just one, but 2, 3 of our large customers. So I think something we are doing right.
Right. Awesome. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Zypp Electric aims to expand its footprint to 30 cities in India by 2025 end. What challenges do you anticipate in achieving this goal, and how do you plan to overcome them?
See, I think what I see, whatever we are doing today, the playbook that we have built in Delhi NCR, the playbook that we have replicated in Bangalore now, is a testimony to say that there is definitely a very blatant requirement to go electric. And it's very clearly, if you unpeel the onion here, you will see that electrification is needed, one, to solve the problem of pollution and climate change. Electric vehicles on a total cost of ownership over the life are much lower, while the input cost is much higher, but the running expenses are lower. And the guy, if you see, whenever you get a thing delivered, right? So you ordered, everyone orders grocery food to be, yeah. So when that transaction happens, there's a delivery boy who's coming and delivering you that shipment. There's a company who's employed this delivery boy to deliver that shipment for you. This guy who's delivering, he's riding a petrol bike in most of the cases, right? 99% of the cases. Now, this guy, if you look at his journey, he somehow managed to acquire a petrol bike from a down payment, or from someone in his family has been able to give him that bike, right? Now, once he has got that bike, once he has got that bike, what has happened now for him is that he is, when he's delivering the shipment, it's not an easy experience to do, by the way. He's just looking at the map, he's riding, he's putting his life at risk when he's delivering. And at the end of the day, when he's earning 50 bucks, roughly 25 rupees is going in petrol, EMI, maintenance. So he's taking home only 25 bucks. And after doing 10 hours of work, that's very small, only 250 rupees of saving, right? After doing 10, 15 orders. So that's very low for him. So he is disjointed. Plus, he's not smart enough to know that what time of the day, what company will have more orders, right? He will do something, but he has 3 apps open. You will book an Uber cab, and if there's a cancellation, you will also not like it, which is happening on the other side. The customer is not at scale getting that best experience. The driver is not making enough money because he's not smart enough to know what time of the day what works. Plus, he's riding on a petrol fuel, which is a problem. And those businesses who've employed him, they also do not have comfort. So let's say there are 15 lakh delivery executives amidst all these companies, but nobody has a clue that tomorrow how many will go live, right? There's a lot of churn. There's a 40% churn. They keep throwing billions of dollars to solve this problem, but it's not scalable. When Zypp comes into the picture, it is actually organizing this entire thing. Let us manage the issues for you. Let us do deliveries for you. Let us ensure that the driver gets enough shipments so that he can make more money. Let us solve his problem via charging, swapping, maintenance. Wherever he's stuck, we will make his uptime improve or his number of deliveries improve through technology. And that customer who's deploying Zypp now to do the service is getting a huge comfort, because it's a contract. We have to be bound by contract to ensure that it's a good service. If I'm doing a bad service as Zypp, then you have all the right to deduct penalty or whatever, right? So that is the way that we've understood that there's a problem to be solved. There's unorganized has to go organized. IC has to go electric. And to do that, there are a lot of pieces which are broken. The financing of bikes, the right OEM, the right charging, swapping, the right maintenance, the end of life of battery. Who will buy the batteries after 3 years when there's no range in them? So there are many problems, I think, which is where we have constantly been addressing that. And for us now, I think the playbook is, if we are doing this in Delhi NCR at a decent scale, where essentially about 15% of all the logistics in Delhi NCR is now going electric via Zypp, can we do that in Bangalore? Can we do that in Mumbai? Can we do that in Hyderabad? Can we do that in Vietnam? Can we do that in Dubai? I think we can. So hence the playbook of replication, making more strength in technology, solving the problems for the driver and the customers through a lot of features and SOPs is the playbook.
Right. I believe you've also installed peak management system in AI. Yeah, which really worked.
Oh yeah, AI is very core to us now.
Yeah.
So there are 10 AI projects, charters that we are running within Zypp. A lot of them are to improve the life of driver experience, improve the customer experience, improve the bike experience, using data in the right places.
Right. All right. So my last question for you before we open the session for Q&A would be, as a thought leader in the industry, what role do you see Zypp Electric playing in shaping the future of electric mobility in India?
Sure. I think in terms of EVs, right, what we do, I'm sure the only thing that makes us thought leaders are the running scooters on road, right? So when you see those green bikes on road, which is what I hear from people, hey, Zypp dikh raha hai. I think that is what matters to me. right? And I think in whatever possibility we can call ourselves thought leader, the idea is to move the industry in the right direction. I think still it's a very broken piece, right? From the policies, right? From the infrastructure side, right? From the supply chain side, a lot of things are broken. But if you might ask me, I would love to pinpoint the right things, because at least we've understood what are the right things to do to accentuate this entire segment. So we are speaking to the state governments, we are speaking to the national, like Niti Aayog, MHI, DHI, and all these, policy makers in terms of five core tenets to kind of grow the entire electric mobility in the country. So we are doing that, and a lot of papers, emails, policy decisions, we are usually called to participate and give our recommendations, which is what we are doing, and hopefully some of them get heard to kind of grow this entire disruption. One thing that I want to tell here is that today 40% of Indian electricity is already renewable. There are stats on that, right? There's a goal from the government in the COP agenda by 2050 to take this 40% to about 75%, which is the electricity is also 40% renewable now via wind, solar, and other places. That is the goal. The second thing, how electrification is helping the entire pollution going, if you do the math again, right? So every kilometer that Zypp is traveling today, we are saving somewhere about 76 grams of CO2. Comparing with an IC engine to electric, considering even that the electricity is coming via 60% of non-renewable sources, right? So there is definitely a saving. The other thing which is happening, which I'm not very happy about, is that at least you are taking the tailpipe emissions from where we live to the areas where the electrification is happening, right? Electricity has to be produced. So yeah, I think it is, as I clearly said, not everything can be done by us, but we are doing our bit to move certain needle on electrification. We would love to contribute on the non-renewable side also. In fact, what we are working with some of our swapping partners is that all your swap stations, can we move them to solar? So that my swapping bikes, which are about 40-50% of my bikes now, they are fully green. The rest are getting charged, but even charging stations, we can move towards solar. But I'm sure that's a great idea for the kids sitting here and the guys sitting here. Solve this problem for us. Oh yeah, 10 years is a long time. I would do it sooner than that. See, I think for me, the next 12 to 18 months goal is to capture the top 15 to 20 cities, right? Which is 12 to 18 months. If you look at our plan of expansion over the next 4 to 5 years, is 100 cities. So yeah, so since you're talking about 10 years, I'm sure that we'll get there sooner. Why we are not getting there sooner today, and why I would say that I would want to first do a Mumbai or Hyderabad rather than going to a smaller market, is just because the problem is larger in these cities where e-commerce is deeply entrenched. A lot of bikes are running 100-150 kilometers, and the problem of pollution is much larger. And I do not have to build the infrastructure from scratch. At least electricity is all there. But as we build the EV journey, I'm sure a lot of these smaller towns will catch up. In fact, we are also building a different kind of a project to get into smaller markets, which is like a franchisee owned model. But we're just in the conceptualization stage of that. I think if you put in the EV industry or in startup world, हम लोग ने बहुत pivots करे, right? The first version of our business was started with cycles. 6 months we pivoted to electric scooters. We started with pure B2C rentals, pivoted to B2B rentals. From B2B rentals, we pivoted to last mile delivery, which is for the last 3.5 years, we are doing the same version. But yes, I think as an entrepreneur, you need to know the right timing of your business. You need to know the right traction, and you need to know that whether you will fail on this or succeed. I think if you're stubborn that I want to just do one thing, जो मैंने start किया है, then I think it's a recipe where you might succeed, but I would say 80-85% of the times you might fail. right? You have to be really very lucky to sustain on the same path. I think the pivots were a very deep thought, introspection thought कि B2C करना है अभी इतना जल्दी जब मार्केट ही तैयार नहीं है, जब बाइक्स को कोई भी कहीं भी रख के छोड़ सकता है फ्लाईओवर के नीचे, anywhere, and then that bike can be broken. There's no investment of the customer in that journey, right? In fact, while coming over here also we were talking about it, right? Some of our competitors keep deploying these bikes, but I know that after 6 months they will have to find some way to get these bikes work. While within Zypp, in the journey of deploying 15,000 bikes, if you look at my scrap ratio, it was less than 1%. We hardly scrap bikes because हम उन्हीं bikes से और churn out करते रहते हैं. And when you are into, an airline business or a bus business or a train business or a logistics business, your asset utilization has to be the key. तो that is what we've understood. जब हम वो B2C rentals करते थे, मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता था कि 4 rides होती थी दिन में, बहुत मेहनत करके 15-20 मिनट की एक राइड होती थी. तो बाइक आपकी चल रही है, दिन में 4 राइड्स कर रही है, 30 किलोमीटर चल रही है. तो जो आपका इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन का ड्रीम है, आपका पोल्यूशन सॉल्व करने का ड्रीम है, आपका यूटिलाइजेशन का ड्रीम है, वो तो अचीव हो ही नहीं रहा. व्हेन वी पिवटेड टू डिलीवरी, अब 150 किलोमीटर चल सकती है बाइक, 200 किलोमीटर चला रहे हैं कुछ लोग. तो देन यू आर हिटिंग द राइट प्रॉब्लम. बिकॉज सी, वन थिंग इज वेरी क्लियर इन अ बिजनेस, व्हेन द क्लॉक इज मूविंग, व्हेन द टायर्स आर मूविंग, इन द मोबिलिटी बिजनेस, जब टायर मूव करता है तब पैसे बनते हैं. तो वो समझ में आ गया कि जब आपने ड्राइवर को बिठा दिया बाइक पे, तो वो भी भागेगा, बाइक भी भागेगी और बिजनेस भी भागेगा. So that is how we've been now almost profitable as a business, right? Because we pivoted. आज हम AI की दुनिया में, right? Each and every swap which happens is fully data driven, right? It is a 6 to 10 second swap. It's very, and the guy who had a certain juice in his battery, the type of battery, he gets a similar battery. That's the beauty of the model. Plus, see, swapping का सबसे बड़ा benefit ये है that you don't have to charge the battery at your home. You don't have to carry that heavy battery to your place. If there's a power cut, who's going to manage that, right? So swapping is all data-driven business. It is where to put the swap station. We guide our swapping partners that ये हमारे route maps हैं, यहाँ पे heat map है, यहाँ पे swapping की जरूरत है. Then we scout places and then we put up a swap station there. Plus, अगर हमने एक swap station लगा दिया and there is a lot of density there, put another swap station there, right? To improve the utilization. Because again, it's the same thing. You're putting batteries, you're putting a swap station. It is a utilization business. अगर कोई swap ही नहीं कर रहा, तो वो business बेकार है, right? So hence it's a lot data driven. In fact, the beauty of some of these swapping partners is that they know that when the traffic is high, they fast charge the battery. So the battery charges within half an hour versus when it is night, when the traffic is low, it takes 5 hours to increase the life of the battery. So we've now moved to that level of data-driven charging, swapping and experience. तो Zypp का धंधा समझाता हूँ तुम्हें. I think अभी तुम्हें पता नहीं है. Zypp doesn't manufacture bikes. Zypp is not an OEM. Zypp does not compete with Ola, Ather, TVS or any of the brands. Zypp is a EV as a service solving last mile delivery. तो चाहे वो ओला की बाइक हो, चाहे वो हीरो की बाइक हो, चाहे वो काइनेटिक की बाइक हो, हम वो बाइक्स लेते हैं, उनमें फीचर्स हटाते हैं, उनको B2B बनाते हैं. जो OEMs है उन बाइक्स को ग्रीन Zypp लोगो लगा के Zypp को देते हैं. और Zypp बाइक्स खरीदता भी नहीं है, जैसे मैंने समझाया, इन्वेस्टर्स बाइक खरीद के Zypp को लीज करते हैं. Zypp is a delivery service for all the e-commerce guys. तो Zomato की डिलीवरी करनी है या Uber की डिलीवरीज करनी है, बाइक टैक्सी वाली, Zypp इन सबको सर्विस देता है, जहां पे इनके लिए कौन सा ड्राइवर किस समय पे कहां पे पहुंचाना है, कौन सी बाइक किस लोकेशन में चार्जिंग या शॉपिंग कैसे करेगी, वो सारी टेक्नोलॉजी से हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं. हमारा बिजनेस ये है. तो हमारे लिए B2C तो कोई चैलेंज ही नहीं है. हम B2C Uber के थ्रू करते हैं, जहां पे आप कभी कभी बाइक टैक्सी बुक करते हो तो एक बंदा आ जाता है जो आपको, बैठो जी Zypp पे, we'll drop you to your office. So this is our service. In fact, we are talking to all these OEMs also to make a B2B bike for us and brand it as Zypp and increase your wallet share in the EV segment?
We have our own rapid fire here at MU.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's
That scares me.
just like coffee with Karan. So I'll pose a question and you will have to answer within 10 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
clock.
Yes. So shall we?
Sure, please.
Right. Which EV do you personally like to ride?
Zypp.
Zypp?
Any
other one?
Oh yeah. So frankly, I want to buy an EV, but I'm afraid there are not good enough EV cars out there when I would want to buy. But I think most of the time to the office, I would be traveling a Zypp bike, and you would see me on the roads. I'm meeting the drivers, taking their feedback. That's there on my Insta channel also, by the way, right? So I think so far it's only Zypp in my head. But if the audience can recommend a good EV for me, I'd love to.
Right. Okay. So if you are given $100 million, how will you invest the same into the following industries? First one being fintech, then healthcare, and third one being electric mobility.
Good question. You know the answer. But yeah, I think I would keep 15% of this for other investments into ancillary businesses which can help Zypp or support founders and funds and kind of build that. But yeah, rest will all go into Zypp. I'm fully committed.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to present 3 names: Ashni, Grover, Dipender Goyal, and Elon Musk. You have to tell me which one of them are you going to hire, fire, and get mentored by.
All 3?
Yeah, all 3.
Oh, wow.
So one each.
One each?
Yeah.
I'd love to hire Elon Musk.
Okay.
Right? He's smart, and I think as I learned that you need to hire someone who's smarter than you, I'd love to hire Elon Musk.
Okay.
I'd not fire Ashneer, but I'll have to in this case. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'll take some mentorship from Dipender, right? Because he's built a good business of Zomato, almost similar in terms of managing a lot of fleet. We very closely work with him. Yeah, those are my answers.
Awesome. Name a Bollywood female and male actor that you'd hire as Zypp's brand ambassador.
Bollywood?
Female and male actor.
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them.
Oh, wow. Only Bollywood? Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I need a Masi guy who can relate with the delivery executives very well. I think I'll put one of the Khans to do this job.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the old school guy. I'm the 90s guy. I'll put on those guys to talk to the delivery executives. You're right, Karo.
Okay.
Yeah, Zypp. In terms of females, I think someone who talks about sustainability quite a lot more, right?
Dia Mirza.
Dia Mirza.
Yeah.
Bhumi, I think some of those guys do that.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So we know you have a hard stop, and just to be mindful of your time, we'll conclude this session here. Thank you so much
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Coming here and